Okay, this is the box here. We're finally done. That's what it looks like. So let's go over what these things do. This is the power button. This is the timer itself. This is reset. This is pause. These are buttons, but we're not using the button function. We're just using them for their lights. This would be the light that lets you know that the panel's ready. And this would be the light that lets you know that there's power ready to go down here. That there's power going down here, you can now make your selection. This down here is all the sprinkler valves. This is the to sprinkler valve, the from sprinkler valve, from tank what. This is a middle valve, which always has to be hit. And then this is the to sprinkler valve. So the difference in count is that you could go to the drain, but you can't go from the drain. So that's the difference there. This area down here is where you plug in your wires. So let's say we had our mixed tank, we would plug it into this one, the positive, and then the negative would always be plugged into to the end over here. This is the common. So every one of these has a common that will pop in over here at the end, and I have a little way of doing that. This down here is the power cord. That's just one of these little guys. And that goes to that box down there, this guy. All right, so now let's watch this work. Let me take off this little cover. That's just to protect it from water. So the power button, now as soon as I turn on the power, you're gonna see it start counting down. I got it set for 15 seconds right now. So let's go ahead and turn it on. You'll see it starts counting down, and this lets us know, hey, there's power coming down here. You could go ahead and make a selection. But right now, I'm not gonna make a selection. I'm gonna let it go to the end of the 15 seconds, and you're gonna see how that light over there turns on now. That's the light that lets us know that the panel is ready. You could go ahead and restart it. So this would be the restart, reset button right there. So this is how I envision this working. Over here, you could make a selection there for hours or minutes or seconds. Right now I got it for seconds for demonstration purposes. But let's say, you had that at 5 minutes instead of 15 seconds. Okay, what you would do is you would come over here and you would say, okay, I want to move water from tank, from the mixed tank. I want to move it to, that's mix F1, F2, F3. I want to move it to F4, right? And I want to do that for 5 minutes. So then I will come over here, I'll hit this, and I will say from the mixed tank to F4. And that's it. Everything's getting power. As you hit these, the sprinkler valves are getting power. And that will keep on going until your time, which was 5 minutes, for us 15 seconds, would be up, and then everything gets shut off. So you don't have to sit there and remember that you're doing this. We don't have to hit any manual valves. We're just using the same system that the Growtronics is using, okay? And then that lets us know, hey, we're ready. All right, now, if I go down here, I've done it with my meter. I'm not sure if you want to see that, but if we come over here and we turn on to voltage AC, I could go ahead and grab my leads and pop them in here. I could pop one into the common, and I could pop another one to, like, let's say this valve, right? Because that valve is actually this guy, that 2-1. So right now, let me hold it with this hand right here at the same time. Right now, if I'm holding that, you see there's no power on there, right? But if I go ahead and I make a selection over here and I say, okay, I reset it. Now I'm going to hit a couple of these, right? And I come over here and I look at this. I move my, there you go. And now when it hits 15 seconds, this goes back down to 0. Boom. You're done. So the power works on here. Now, the only thing on here right now that doesn't work how I want it to is this little function, the reset. So let's say I reset it and I say, okay, I want to go from the mix tank to F3. And you say, oh shit, I fucked up. You know, I wanted F4. When you do this and you reset, it doesn't pop these off. It'll reset the time, right? But it doesn't pop these off. So the only way to pop these off right now is to hit the off and on button, which is a pain in the ass. I want this right here to go ahead and pop these off. So you could hit it, pop it off, and then make another selection for yourself when you made a mistake. So that's an easy fix. I just got to buy either another little relay to put in here or change that button for another button. So that's one little thing I want to fix. And then the other one is not something I want to fix so much as it's a function you need to know of. You see how this thing has 2 times in 2 time intervals? This is the first loop of time. So there's a loop of time going on over here. If there's only one loop of time, it'll do that loop of time and it'll stop because it says 0 times. If you put another loop of time over here, let's say 1 second or 10 seconds, it'll do this one every 1 second or 10 seconds, whatever you do here, and it'll go on forever. It'll do this one 10 seconds, and then it'll do this 10, and it'll do this one 15 seconds, and it'll do this 10, and it'll do this one in 15 seconds. We don't have a function for that in how we're doing things, so we just won't use that. But one good thing about it is, let's say I do put in my my time there, and I do make a selection over here. You'll see that when it gets to 15 seconds, it goes and resets itself because it wants to do this loop for 1 second, and then it's going to come over here and do the second loop. But you saw when it did that, it popped this off anyway. So if that's on by mistake, we're not going to be watering anything because it does cut the power, which is good. So you'll see now it gets to 15 seconds, it does 1 second, it comes back, it goes to 15 seconds. So, you know, we don't need that. So we'll leave that first area in 0. So it does our 15-second countdown, you know, and that's that. It'll do this for another 15 seconds and then that's it. So that's how it goes. You go ahead and make your selection, you know, whatever it is, at the end of 15 seconds or whatever time you set on there. It stops. It says, yeah, I'm ready for the next one. So we could either leave it like this all the time, or you could just turn it on and off as you need it. And that's the box. Last thing I got to do is label these things. I got a label maker for that, and switch that little button over there to one that cuts out these things. And that's pretty much it.